You're about to watch a Trains Newswire video. If you enjoy what you see, consider watching some of our other full-length videos. Selling Sunshine, the Florida Trains. Locomotive 2017, a video companion to our best-selling annual issue. Big Steam is back. All of these and more are available from our website, kalmbachhobbystore.com. Good morning, Trains Nation. Today is Friday, February 9th, 2018, all day until
Midnight. You got it.
And we are here bringing you all the latest, the best, the greatest, the most publishable news items.
Yes, there is that.
And that too.
There is
so,
that.
Jim, I don't think we're lacking for news this week.
No, and unfortunately, it was all started on Sunday by some very sad news. Of course, the derailment of Amtrak's Silver Star just south of Columbia in the suburb of KC. And the southbound train ran into a sitting freight train, and looks like from initial reports that the NTSB has confirmed switch was left open in a locked and line position for the siding. The Star went in there. They didn't have any signals because they were installing PTC.
Right. The sad irony here.
A lot of things there going on, and obviously our hearts go out to the Amtrak crew that lost their lives and their families. So our sympathies on that did start very sad, and you know, more to come on that. We published a story I think yesterday or today about the lawsuits are already starting to trickle in.
Correct.
So lots there, but yeah, and then lots of other.
Well, and then let's stay
too.
on Amtrak for just a second. So on Tuesday, just 2 days after this wreck in South Carolina, the Acela Express, moving from Washington to Boston, somewhere in Maryland, separated while it was moving at about 124, 125 miles per hour. And
could have been bad. Could have been very bad.
It could have been very bad. I want to emphasize, and I wrote this in a blog post this week that's tied to our news, that when the Acela separates at speed, it's not like two couplers pulling apart. It's not a broken coupler, like you might think of on a freight train.
They're semi-permanently coupled.
That's right. That means that there are like the big steel drawbars in between these things with giant pins holding it together. It's pretty solidly built. Until it's not, and we're hearing reports now of how that came apart. All Amtrak would confirm to us is that there was a mechanical failure, and they would not specify the details.
And you and I were looking at the pictures, and you know, the vehicles came apart, but it looks like the connector hoses that go between the cars actually kept things together at some point. And I'm assuming, you know, probably went into emergency pretty quick. Thankfully, the back end didn't ram the front end, and so things stayed upright. Stayed upright. It's always my first fear whenever a train pulls in too, is it's going to collide with itself. But thankfully that did not happen.
And no injuries. But Federal Railroad Administration, National Transportation Safety Board are investigating that, as well as Amtrak crews. So we hope to get you the latest on that. Bob Edmondson in Washington is following up on some leads that he's heard in the past 24 hours. So we hope to have more to you on that.
Good deal.
Yeah. Report coming out a little later this month or in early March, National Transportation Safety Board report on the Southwestern Railroad crash that happened back in 2015. Very similar to South Carolina on Sunday, open switch. This was a short line, and a BNSF train crashed into it and killed some people, and that was pretty bad. So we're expecting a report on that very soon. Jim, I saw that there was some happier steam news this week. What do we have going on out there?
Well, the really interesting one to me was out at Cumbres and Toltec. Those guys are busy on narrow gauge 10-wheeler, which would be a new wheel arrangement for the narrow gauge out there. And they're busy on steam engine number 168. Check out our report on that one. It is making really good progress. They've raised a lot of the money. They've finished the tender. They're doing the running gear work. So good progress on that in beautiful Antonito, Colorado at the Cumbres and Toltec shops. Which reminds me, just a real quick commercial message, our ticketing is open for our photo charter commemorating the last regular service freight run on the Rio Grande narrow gauge back in 1968. And if you call the Cumbres and Toltec Scenic, you can order tickets for that. They're selling briskly, and that's back in August. So
Now, this isn't just any photo charter. They are, as I understand, they're going out of their way to replicate the last run.
They're going to do it as close as you can. You can't do it all the way,
Right.
Obviously, but in fact, one of the locomotives from the last run is derelict in the yard there at Chama, but they're going to actually let us renumber, repaint one of the locomotives to 483. So we'll look as authentic as it possibly can.
Well, that'll be fantastic. And remember to call. It's not available on the website.
Not available on the website. Info is available on our website, but you have to call to order the tickets.
Correct. Correct. No, that's really good. Oregon Coast Scenic. We had a story on that a little earlier this week.
Yep.
They've got some kind of controversy between the railroad and the Port of Tillamook Bay, and
there's a trail advocacy group.
Trail group.
Yep. The old trail versus rail thing. Yeah, read that one. A lot of very complicated story, but basically just making sure that Oregon Coast Scenic has the right to continue to do what it does, which is run a scenic railroad along the Pacific coast.
Right.
And so we all want to see that. So be sure and check that one out, because obviously it does have a lot of implications for that railroad as well as others.
Yeah, and steam on the Pacific coast, big deal. Heading way back east, Lake Meganic wreck from 2013. Finally, someone has been fined for this.
Right.
There were executives from the former Montreal, Maine and Atlantic Railway who pled guilty in Quebec court earlier this week to charges of environmental disaster, environmental catastrophe. So several of them will be paying $50,000 Canadian, and the engineer Thomas Harding, who admitted that he didn't tie down the correct number of handbrakes, has 6 months probation. So check that out on Newswire. Very, very interesting tidbit. We didn't expect that to come, but it came pretty quick after the criminal trial ended here a couple weeks ago. So, Jim, what else you got on the docket today?
Just a story you and I were talking about right before we came on camera. It'll go up on Newswire shortly. Some of the first Knoxville Locomotive Works units headed to the Pacific Coast. Two of them have already landed at the Richmond Terminal Railroad in the Bay Area. So be sure and check that out. It's a colorful unit. And there's some hints that there might be some more headed that way.
That's very good news.
Yeah,
very
good
good
cool.
news. Congratulations, Knoxville. Well, we wanted to let you know that today's Newswire episode, Newswire video and audio episode, is brought to you today by Hotspots Videos.
Ta-da!
And this time in central Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're featuring the
Speedway.
one out our back door.
That's right.
So.
And we've got some drone video on this, and it's going from Fond du Lac and Oshkosh, Wisconsin, all the way down to Chicagoland. So very good video. It's got some original video from the 90s.
Yep, we took the original on-location series that Trains did 25 years ago and brought it up to date. So you get to see the way it looked back in the day, which is now getting to be history.
Right.
It actually is history. And then we bring it up to date for you.
Yeah, and narrated by Kevin P. Keefe.
The Kevin P. Keefe.
The one and only.
The one and only.
So be sure to check this out on our website, thekalmbachhobbystore.com. For everyone at Trains Magazine, we hope you have a wonderful, snowy, cold railfan weekend.
We will.
Take care.
Bye-bye.